Now, the first Christians we know were Africans, or the original church was first developed and had its strongest hold in Africa.
See, but the African Christian developed before the church developed as a physical body. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying that that was not the birth of Christianity, or the African concept of Christianity developed before the church. The church, in a physical sense, began to develop when the Romans decided they could use it, and therefore encouraged it after the Romans stopped killing Christians and began to join the church for political reasons.
They found it was more economically expedient to join it than to continue the expense of
and this was when Constantine made the Christian religion the religion of the Eastern Roman Church, and subsequently the others didn't. Plus the fact that many Roman emperors were entertaining themselves on Saturday by seeing the Christians killed with the lions and the gladiators. And finally one Roman looked down in the arena and saw his uncle, so he didn't stop the show. He says, "Oh, he's old widow, let him." Next Saturday he looked down, there was his wife and the child willing to die in the arena. He said, "Stop the show. Let me investigate this thing."
Well, Constantine's own mother, Helena, had been converted to Christianity, and that had a great impact on him making that decision.
Well, making that decision also with the little-known people called the Essens. And the Essens were, in addition to being moralists, were vegetarians of that day. And they approached him about fornicating in the palace, and he agreed to stop that. Then they told him he'd have to stop eating red meat. Then he told them equivalent to go to hell with your religion. So they left him alone. So all right. If you stop the fornication, we'll leave you with your meat, So then he tolerated it enough to make it the religion of the Eastern Roman Church, although he never really, with any degree of sincerity, joined the church.
Now, St. Augustine had said in one of his writings that the true religion, which had existed from the foundation of earth, came to be known as Christianity. So he very well knew.
Came to be known as Christianity.
Right, he very well knew, obviously, that this was no new concept, that this was no new thing.
John Jackson is Christianity Before Christ. Did a good job on this in another work called Pagan Origins of the Christ Myth. John Jackson is so terribly underrated.
He's a master.
Because John Jackson was a cynic and one of God's angry men, but
a man of superior intelligence.
Yeah, and a fine memory of almost everything that ever touched his life. And died an angry, disappointed man. But he was my friend for more than 50 years.
I, too, learned so much from him. I never got to meet him in person, but from his writings. Mm-hmm. And his writings would prick me so I would sometimes have to go for weeks just wrestling with the point of view. When I first read Man, God, and Civilization, I had to wrestle with that book, but it opened up a whole new area of enlightenment. So
but see, in addition to his own writing, he introduces you to other writers that you need to investigate. Jackson introduced me to Joe Massey and Alvin Boyd Kuhn and writers of that nature. Pro-African Europeans that Europeans still ignore.
Now, when Constantine finally, when he decided that he was going to take this, what he considered to be a new religion, and now use it to revitalize the empire, and also use it as a mechanism to control the mind. He said the only way we can do this is to have an orthodoxy. If you have an orthodoxy, that means the people are not allowed to think or question beyond a certain level of belief. How did he go about that?
by really designating certain priests to interpret the Bible. The Bible wasn't widely read or widely circulated. In the Catholic Church up until the end of the 19th century, a lot of Catholic laymen didn't even read the Bible. They had it interpreted to them, but they didn't read it. Either you had the blind faith and to believe what the priest said, or you weren't a good Catholic.
Well, I understand that in some places the Bible was chained to walls, and only certain priests could read it. Not even all the priesthood could. And you could get varying degrees of punishment if you were caught reading it, even up to death, depending upon what your station was in life. And this went on for many, many years throughout Christendom as it was dominated by the Catholic Church. Most
Christians don't know it today. They don't know the different versions it went through before it was changed. The final version it's in right now.
Well, some folks say, well, since it's gone through all this, since it's been polluted so much, what do we need with it? What can we do? Why don't we just throw it away and start all over again? Should we do that, or what should we do with it?
I think we should try to understand it as part of religious literature and mythology, but I question the intelligence of anyone who thinks the Bible is true or supposed to be true.
St. Augustine said the same thing. He said, anyone who takes the book of Genesis literally is accrediting to God those attributes that are not worthy of him.
Yeah. And most of the book of Moses was written after Moses was dead.